The Golden Era, a time when wrestling was exploding in popularity, known for its larger-than-life characters and over-the-top storylines. But more importantly, this was the birth of HULKAMANIA, so let's dive into it. This era is often regarded as the sport's second coming. It was truly a special time, especially for those of us who were fortunate enough to witness it firsthand. The bright colors and cartoonish characters seemed to take over the world, and the biggest star of them all was undoubtedly the one and only Hulk Hogan. HULKAMANIA was more than just a wrestling persona. It was a cultural movement. His matches weren't just contests, they were events, and his feuds with wrestlers like Andre the Giant and the Iron Sheik were followed with the kind of intensity usually reserved for major sporting events. The energy in the arena when Hulk Hogan was wrestling was electric. The roar of the crowd, the flashing lights, and the larger-than-life characters made every event feel like a mini-spectacle. In a time when fitness was becoming a national obsession, Hogan was the ultimate role model. He proved that with hard work and dedication, anyone could achieve the seemingly impossible. The Attitude Era had Stone Cold, and the Ruthless Aggression Era had Brock Lesnar. But it was hard to think of any other era that was as defined by a single individual as the Golden Era was defined by Hulk Hogan. When Hulk Hogan entered the ring, the crowd erupted. This wasn't just because he was a skilled wrestler or had an interesting backstory. The crowd knew that when Hogan climbed to the top rope, it was only a matter of time before his leg came crashing down on his opponent. His influence continued into the 1990s, with him being one of the main figures in the early years of World Championship Wrestling. His departure from WWE in 1993 was a major storyline, and his return too. WWE in 2002 was one of the most anticipated moments in wrestling history. This visual, the image of the Hulkster standing triumphantly over his fallen opponent, was repeated countless times during the 80s and early 90s, a time when the line between sport and entertainment was blurred, and when larger-than-life personalities became household names. Also, while you're at it, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Hulk Hogan was at the forefront of this revolution. His impact on wrestling is undeniable. He brought the sport to new heights of popularity and showed that wrestlers could be more than just athletes. They could be cultural icons. He brought the sport to new heights of popularity, appearing on magazine covers, hosting TV shows, and starring in movies. His larger-than-life personality and incredible physique made him a global phenomenon, and each time it was as electrifying as the last. It was because he represented something bigger than himself, a larger-than-life hero who embodied the spirit of the times. The first WrestleMania in 1985 is still regarded as one of the greatest events in wrestling history. Whether he was flexing in the ring or striking a pose on the cover of a magazine, Hogan's physique became synonymous with the era. His music videos were groundbreaking for wrestling. They were entertaining, high energy, and often humorous. But more importantly, they effectively promoted wrestling events. In 1989, he starred in the blockbuster movie No Holds Barred, which grossed over $35 million worldwide. While the movie may not have been a critical success, it was a significant achievement for professional wrestling. It showed that wrestlers could indeed make it big in Hollywood and pave the way for future wrestlers to follow in Hogan's footsteps. Music videos allowed Hogan and other wrestlers to reach a wider audience, blurring the lines between wrestling and mainstream entertainment. The sight of those massive biceps was as iconic as the sound of the crowd chanting Hulk, 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 Hulk. The main event, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, was a clash of titans. The build-up to the match was masterful. Playing on the emotional aspect of the Hulkster's friendship with Andre, the match itself was a spectacle. It was a storybook ending that cemented Hulk Hogan's place in wrestling immortality. Welcome back everyone to my channel where we break down all things wrestling. Signature look, a neon yellow and red striped bathing suit paired with a pair of red and yellow wrestling shoes, remains one of the most instantly recognizable outfits in sports entertainment history. He was a larger-than-life hero who was also down to earth. It's a man who could bench press over 500 pounds, but also took time to pray and eat his vitamins. This combination of strength and humility made him incredibly appealing to fans of all ages. What made Hulk Hogan stand out even more was his seemingly genuine connection with his fans. He would often tell them to say their prayers and eat their vitamins, a message that went beyond the ring and resonated with people from all walks of life. This down-to-earth persona endeared him to audiences worldwide and helped propel wrestling into the homes of millions. Today, we are taking a look at the history of the Hulkster and his impact on the world of wrestling. In particular, we'll be focusing on how he led wrestling to become a mainstream global phenomenon during the so-called Golden Era of wrestling, which really needs no introduction. The Golden Era was a unique period in professional wrestling history, marked by larger-than-life personalities, outrageous storylines, and of course, larger-than-life muscles. During this time, Hulk Hogan didn't just win championships. He became a global phenomenon. The sheer magnitude of his success can be gauged by the fact that at one point, he was featured on the cover of both Sports Illustrated and People magazine in the same week. This was a time when wrestling wasn't just a sport, it was a cultural touchstone. Hulk Hogan wasn't just a wrestler. He was a cultural icon. This era, which pretty much started with the rock and wrestling connection in the early 80s and lasted until the mid-90s, was dominated by Hulk Hogan and his colorful cast of friends and rivals. But how did this come to be? How did wrestling go from being a niche sport to becoming a global sensation? One word: HULKAMANIA. His rise to stardom was nothing short of meteoric. Hogan's charisma, combined with his incredible physique and wrestling prowess, made him an instant fan favorite. But what truly set the Hulkster apart was his ability to connect with people outside the ring. Now let's talk about some of the iconic moments from this era. The 24-inch pythons were on full display during the 80s, and Hulk Hogan wasn't shy about showing them off. But it wasn't just about the muscles. It was about what they symbolized. And then there was the iconic leg drop, Hulk Hogan's finishing move. It was more than just a wrestling maneuver. It was a symbol of power. In the ever-evolving world of professional wrestling, it's not uncommon for different eras to be defined by their most dominant figures. He wasn't just a wrestler. He was a cultural icon whose influence transcended the world of sports entertainment. Hulk Hogan's impact on wrestling is immeasurable. In a time when MTV was changing the way we consumed music, Hogan was quick to capitalize on the opportunities presented by this new medium. One of the most notable examples of Hogan's crossover appeal was his foray into the world of film. It's important to remember that Hulk Hogan wasn't just a product of the 1980s. As we look back on the Golden Era, it's clear that we are witnessing a unique period in professional wrestling history. Now it's your turn to drop a comment below and share your thoughts on Hulk Hogan and his impact on professional wrestling.